Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. We have Abrahm Mayo from Honest Aid Home Services in Osage Beach, Missouri. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Really good to talk to you. So, start little bit about how you got going in the industry, what got you to where you are today. Tell us a little bit about that history.
Sure. Started a long time ago, probably 13, 14 years old. Every summer I used to go work in a trades company, whether it was for like construction company doing tile or something, or my uncle's company, working with some plumbing and doing that kind of thing. Started at a real young age and decided that's what I wanted to do moving forward with my life. And so straight out of high school, got on with a plumbing and heating cooling company and worked for that specific company up in Illinois for until I was about 17 years old until 29, I believe is when I left there and got blessed with a good opportunity there. I was going working in the field and the trades and then ended up going back to college. And while I was going to college, started working in that company's accounting department and then got an opportunity to move up in management there and then move all the way up to the top of that company and start running that company. And ran that company for some years until decided that me and my wife wanted to try to make a run at it ourselves. And that's when we tried to figure out where we wanted to be and make that run. And so she's from Osage Beach originally, the lake area. And so we decided that this was where we were going to set up shop and try to make a run at it. So in 2018, we planted our feet here and ran my first call February 28th of 2018 here at the lake and just been growing ever since.
Amazing. So, you're coming up on 8 years of celebrating that first phone call.
That's right.
That's incredible. And what would you say it has been the biggest drive to the growth that you've seen over the last 8 years?
The biggest drive, honestly, the reason why I was excited about starting here at the lake is because they didn't have any true 100% residential repair replace service business in our industry. They had a lot of good tradesmen here, but they were really focused on new construction remodel. And I thought we could probably really make a good run at it with a service company who's solely focused on service. And because of that and the model that we put in place with our same day, next day policy, where we try to, if someone calls, we try to service them the same day or the next day. A lot of trades guys around the area, they just don't do that. So
Mm.
it's it's been an easy way with having that policy in place, an easy way to grow. We're definitely getting to the point in the company now though where growth is becoming a little more challenging. And I don't know if that's because the amount of population is growing here at the lake, people moving in, companies getting started, or if we just gotten to the point where it's not as easy to take market share when you get to a certain size.
Okay, that's interesting that you saw the need that the community had and went with that and grew with that. Did you see that vision from the very beginning? Is that what when you started the company, was that what you saw and grew from?
I did because I actually met my wife down here at the lake. And so I had been coming to the lake for some time. And every time we needed service on a house that I was staying at or friends that nearby or something, and we'd try to call for service at a different company because, of course, at that time, didn't want to work on the house while we were trying to enjoy ourselves, having
Of
fun,
course.
just
Yeah.
have someone else to do it. But every time we tried to call before I ever moved down here, it was 2, 3 weeks out is what we were told. Oh, we're 2, 3 weeks out. And so it was something that was always in the back of my mind. This is insane that no one
Hmm.
get to us for service work for 2 or 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
definitely knew that. And then when I was leaving the company I was working for, I even called around to some of the companies here in the area just to see what they would offer me if I wanted to apply and start working for them as a tradesman or a manager or something. And the the pay was another thing that I thought we could bring to the community to help raise the standard of living because as a tradesman, they were willing to offer me 14.75 an hour. And that was in 2018 as a EPA certified trade guy.
Wow.
And none of them had benefits. So
Wow.
that was something that blew my mind. And I thought that's another opportunity for us to help raise the standard of living there at the lake. And we can jump in because we started off right away paying our guys a lot more than what they had offered me. So It was definitely something that I had spent time thinking about. We got down there and we actually ran service the way it should be run, and then we
Mhm.
pay guys the way they should be paid and give them benefits, then we might be able to have an opportunity to grow this thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. You really saw a way to grow not just your business but the community as well, which is a really strong perspective to take when you're starting out. And you had that vision, and given that model that you or that structure that you saw was necessary, have you had a success in that? Has it played in your favor to be paying fairly, to be offering benefits, and how has the response been, and how is that for longevity of team members?
It was interesting to say the least. I'll put it to you like that because I thought we shouldn't have a problem at all getting people to come work for us,
Yeah.
being that we know what we want to pay, the benefits we want to give. And we got into a little bit of a bind because the community down here just wasn't, it's just different. I don't know how to say it or put it, but they're so used to working all summer long because this is a tourist community where
Sure.
a lot of people come to travel, take their summer vacations, do those types of things. So the local community was just used to, we work hard from April to Labor Day weekend, and then there's really no work. And a lot of even the trades companies around here at the time when we first started, they would lay off their whole entire crew, their staff, everyone from October-ish until April.
Wow.
And so when we started hiring some people that their vision or their thought was that
Mm.
we'll work hard for this amount of time and then we'll get to take the winter off or whatever. And that was not our vision. Our vision was we were working all year round
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a struggle for me because I couldn't figure out how to attract people in a way that didn't want 12 months of work year
Sure.
round, which was funny. And like I said, interesting to me that they didn't necessarily want that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our technicians now and the recruitment that we do is outside of our local area. We've got a few guys that work for us that are local to the area, but the majority of our crew and our staff is actually from outside of the area because
Okay.
they know we work hard, that we work long hours, and that we work year round. And
Yeah.
some people don't want that, and that's okay.
Yeah. And that's interesting because a really hot topic in the industry right now is recruitment, is finding the right people, right
Absolutely.
seats. And so, what types of incentives do you offer, if any, for people that are coming and moving to Osage Beach for
Yeah,
employment?
sure. So the first thing, depending on how far outside of our service area they are, we offer up to $3,000 relocation package and 30 days of temporary living facilities. We work with a couple of different people that own some Airbnbs, and we have a couple of ourselves that we'll put people up in for 30 days just to help them find a place to live. And if they're wanting to buy a home, we've made a really good relationship with a mortgage broker here in town, and she works really hard,
I
and
mean,
I've not sent her one person that she hasn't been able to get approved for a home loan. And I've, she's impressive, and I won't get too off track on that. But even guys who have said, I've never been approved for a home loan, she gets them approved. We've been blessed with that. But going back to the actual benefits that we're offering people, we actually pay 100% of the health, vision, and dental insurance for the entire family for every employee that comes to work for
amazing.
us. Now, that is after 1 year of employment.
Mhm.
We used to offer it right off the bat, but it got a little discouraging, I guess you
Sure.
would say, some of us
Yeah.
when we would offer it and then they'd be on for 3 year, not even three, more like 9 months, and then just leave us or something to that
Yeah.
effect. And we felt like we wasted 6 months of paid benefits for everybody.
Sure.
But that's just one portion of it. I know it's a big portion that has really drawn in a lot of top talent because of the fact that, if you're paying for the entire family's benefits package, it takes a lot off their plate, and they can just focus on their hourly pay or salary being actually that, and not trying to make calculations to figure out what they're going to net at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's one big thing. We also do a lot of events that we're actually drawing back on. Might sound bad, but we were doing a monthly dinners for the entire organization as we hit our goals. And last year we didn't quite hit our goal that we wanted to on revenue, but we got very close. But because of that, we started having a dinner almost every single month. It got to the point where some people were like, oh man, I don't want anybody to feel like I don't want to be there. Don't want to.
Right.
So we've actually changed that this year to go into quarterly.
Yeah.
If we quarterly goal, then we'll do a quarterly dinner. So opportunity for 4 dinners
Yeah.
because we also do other
Of course.
events here. So them trying to make that, and a lot of people, which I understand, we've got 3 kids, so a lot of people were saying it's hard to do that and do
Yeah.
your kid events,
Yeah.
and none of the dinners, none of our events are actually mandatory by any
Sure.
means, but
Yeah.
I think they feel like they want to be there and they want to be a part of the team.
Yeah. Of
It makes them
course.
here, not keep it up, if you will. Not sure if that answered your question 100%, but I hope
It
so.
actually, it really does because I think when people watch this podcast, they're going to pull from it some ideas and just see it. Sometimes when you're in it, it's hard to see anything else. And I know recruitment is tough in the industry. So having those pointers is really helpful. And it sounds like you've really created a method of attracting people and then follow through with what you're offering with a clear structure. And it sounds like a very healthy approach to growth. And so I give you kudos to that for sure. So I appreciate that information and the sharing of it because it's very insightful. The level that we might have to go to really bring in those A players, right?
Sure.
So yeah, I appreciate that. In terms of your marketing, switching gears just a little bit, what over the years have you tried and what have you realized didn't work for you?
Funny that you say that because so I mentioned the company that I was running in Illinois for some time, and there was something that actually worked really well up there, and it was actually just a small sticker on the front of newspaper or magazine.
Thing.
Sticker, peel off, and I don't know why, but it worked really well up there in Illinois. And I will say this, let me backtrack there. It worked really well in the beginning of me starting to run that company. Towards the end, the newspaper got where people didn't really buy it or read it or take it. So we actually cut that towards the end of my stay up there. But when I came down here, interesting enough, the lake area, this community is, I hate saying it, almost 20 years behind the times, it feels like. And people were still reading they were still buying the newspaper when I
Yeah.
got down here, and still had a person going around for yellow pages and newspaper,
Wow.
and which I just thought was odd and interesting all at the
Sure.
same time because
Yeah.
before I left in Illinois, I think they had stopped sending yellow page people
Yeah.
around 5 years prior to me leaving up there. But so I thought that was weird. So I thought
Yeah.
this is a perfect place for me to try that sticker out, and because had such success up there. And I put quite a few thousands into that sticker, and I don't know that we got one call off that sticker,
Wow.
which I was
Interesting.
yeah, it was actually disheartening. I was sad because I thought for sure I was gonna
Yeah.
have
The
something
same.
that was gonna hit big, so I went all in on it. I did the newspaper and I did it's called LO Profile Magazine
Yeah.
that they do just for this area, and, man, I don't think we got one call on that thing, so
Okay.
definitely money wasted in
Yeah.
that area,
Yeah.
but I will say on the flip side of that, with me also saying that they were 20 years behind the times, it also seemed like on the flip side that we got more, it was Deanna at the time who was working for Plumbing and HVAC at CO. When I would talk to her and I would tell her how much we were getting off of Facebook,
Uh-huh.
she honestly just couldn't believe it, and I couldn't either because we had never gotten when I was in Illinois, we had never gotten the amount of leads or people just calling in off of Facebook or
Mhm.
and more or less messaging into our Facebook setting up, and it was just mind-boggling to me at the time, like, how many leads we were getting by people just messaging in our Facebook Messenger,
Yeah.
and telling her that, she was blown away by it too, and that's panned off. So I would say in the beginning, that was like almost one of our main lead sources, which kind of just blew me away. It's definitely not anymore at this point in the game. Probably like majority of our leads are coming from online.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I would say about something that has been was a big hit in the beginning for
Mhm.
it. And we started this thing just me in a truck and my wife answering the phones in our basement. But I think that was part of the reason why it just blew us away, because we had no presence here before. No one knew it was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden our Facebook's bringing in all kind of leads. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to us, but we'll take it nonetheless.
Yeah, of course. And that's a good point. Starting with you in a truck and your wife answering the phone, where are you at today with technicians and trucks?
So we have 14 technicians, I should say 14 selling techs, managed techs on the road, and then a couple other install/warehouse technicians. And I think we have, I should know that's, I'm poor. I think we have right at 27 total employees.
Uh,
And we have done a couple of hires on the inside to gear up to get them to train before our summer season hits. Cause like I said, the tourism here is bigger. So our summer seasons are a lot bigger than
hectic. Yeah.
days. But yeah, that's
I
about
mean,
where we're
okay.
going.
Yeah, that's great. And in terms of your overall marketing right now, right from traditional to digital, what all are you doing? And what in that spectrum of things that you're doing today, what are you really impressed with? What is it? The door signs? Is it lawn signs? What is it that's pulling that in?
So we, a few years ago, pulled back on a lot of our marketing because of the fact that we were getting the manpower. We
Mm,
weren't being able to find the actual high quality technician that we wanted to send out on these calls. So
yeah.
we really pulled back on some marketing. But the good news is we've able to reel it in, and going back to that recruitment talk that we already had, we are just telling someone how much we spent it last year alone on Indeed, and they were blown away by that number. I'll be quite frank with you. I was too, because I only knew the number because I was just going over my P&L with my accountant and
Yeah.
my bookkeeper here. I was even blown away that we spent that much, but it also made sense because we probably get anywhere from 5 to 8 applications a day now.
Wow.
And so that actually has helped us find a lot of good manpower in that sense. So relating that back to the marketing, we've started to turn on a lot more of the marketing channels that we had on previously. As far as email campaigns, we had shut off email campaigns just
Yeah.
because of the fact that we didn't want to email our current customer base because we were working with customer lobby at the time, and we turned that off. But we didn't want to keep emailing our customer base and not being able to service them when I decided that we weren't getting the manpower that we needed. So with that being said, I turned that off, and that will actually be turning back on this year because, like I said, gearing up, and we've got a good crew of guys, and we're actually looking to hire probably about 8 more this year.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. But going back to the original question, the thing that it's not really, I wouldn't say we have anything that's really sticking out to me right now, because we're on TV, we're on radio, we're on all the normal stuff, billboards, online campaigns. We even actually turned off our Facebook advertising for a bit. All last year, I believe we didn't run one single Facebook ad.
Mhm.
And to say that we have just a core group of channels, the marketing channels, if you will, with the things that I've already mentioned, we're not doing anything. And this is poor, but this is just transparent in
Yeah.
the community, the way that we used to, or the way that we want to,
Yeah.
because we were just really dialed in this past year on getting our core right here, getting a good team on board, getting the right technicians and the right trucks, and then trying to make it run at it this year. So we really dialed back on like actual revenue growth from last
Mm,
year, but tried to in fact make sure that we had a serious profit going on with the revenue that we did have. So
yeah.
we did very well at that last year. And so our goal this year is to have stronger revenue growth with maintaining that profit level.
Yeah.
And I actually was speaking with Cody not too long ago and told him the good news that I actually was able to hire a marketing manager. So that person starts next week, and I'm very
Wow.
excited about that because he has some major photography and videography skills that we'll be able to
That's
use.
amazing. Sometimes we have to take a year like that to pull back, just take a breath, evaluate what we're doing, refine the people we have and the processes we have and the choices we make. And it sounds like you're coming into 2026 with a solid growth plan and pretty excited about it. So that's very cool. You touched on my next question, community involvement. We all know how important that is. And being in the home services industry, it's such a position of trust. You're going into people's homes. There's wives at home with their kids, and it's a huge amount of confidence and trust that someone has to have to open that door. So what do you do and what have you done for the community involvement?
Sure. So we did, as I said, we didn't do near as much as we wanted to last year, but in the past, we have a couple different things. So we do a shelter saver, if you will. So we partner with a couple local animal shelters, and we actually sometimes run some contests with them, and we'll let the community vote on what shelter they'd like to see
Yeah.
win some of our services. And we actually, not last year, but the year prior, we did a shelter saver where they won our services, but as well as that, we actually paid for the adoption fee for 6 different animals, and then we paid for all the shots that they needed to have in order to be adopted, as well as we bought like 200 something pounds worth of dog food, whatever, for the actual shelter
Oh,
for the animals that didn't get adopted. But so we did that, and then that typically happens in February, and then in March, another thing. The parades are really big here. Again, going back to that tourist community type of deal.
yeah.
Parades are really big. So every year, the biggest parade is, believe it or not, it's a St. Patty's Day parade. So we get involved
Interesting.
in that. Yeah, it's huge here. But we get involved in that and do a big giveaway that day, and then we actually end up bringing our whole crew back to the office if we do a big hangout after the parade's done, and so that's always fun. But other than that, we do a back to school contest. Typically, it starts in July is when we start promoting it, and then the contest starts in August. And we run that for about 2 or 3 weeks and let the community vote on which, and it's typically done just with the elementary schools, which elementary school they'd like to see win, and what they're winning is we pay for, I believe, we did 3,000 last year, $3,000 worth of school supplies for that
Oh,
school. And then we do tiers. So we do a second and third place winner too. And second place gets like 1,000, third place gets, I think, 500 or something to that
yeah.
effect. So that's something else that we do. And then in the fall, we partake. There's a local organization here that does this thing called Suits for Soldiers. And so we made a play off of what they were doing, because it's a month before what we do on our fall giveaway. We do a veterans giveaway. So we give away an HVAC system every year for a veteran in need. And so we play off of that because they're Suits for Soldiers. They give a suit to every soldier or veteran
Oh,
that shows up. So we try to advertise and promote our little deal at theirs and give away
yeah.
some flyers, and then we actually make our announcement typically around Veterans Day is when we
Amazing.
make the announcement of who's going to win that HVAC system.
Wow.
It's a big hit, and a lot of people like that, especially the veteran who's winning.
Course, yeah. It sounds like you touched on all the areas of the community that are really in need. You've touched the animals, the children, veterans, and so it sounds like your approach is just so well rounded and thoughtful, and that is one of the elements that really builds that trust and that confidence. When the community sees your name in places like that, they know that when they're looking for a home services company, you're going to be top of mind. And it's not that it's about that, but what it's about is building that trust in the community and building that relationship with people. So it sounds like you've done an amazing job. You've arrived in this town and you've built something that the community is now seeing as a type of pillar in the community. And that's really cool. So kudos
Yeah,
to you and your team.
I appreciate that, and it hasn't always been easy. It's a really tight knit community, and
Yeah.
they are one of those. The locals is they like to know, and they like to let people know that the locals mean something around here. So it
Sure.
was not always easy to get that, but I think they're starting to realize we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been interesting, and it's
Yeah.
been a ride. That's for sure.
Hey, you dug in and you made it work. We know the importance of Google reviews, of course, aside from the community talking positive things and all that stuff, those Google reviews really matter. What do you do, if anything, to promote or to pull in those reviews?
We use Service Titan for sure. We
Hmm.
use Service Titan uses that feature where it'll automatically send out
Yeah.
review. But The other thing is that we've got, which actually plumbing and HVAC SEO helped us integrate that nearby now feature that
Yeah. Yeah.
helps us out a lot, getting other good reviews. But some of the things that we do in-house is we constantly remind our technicians,
Mhm.
CSRs, people on the phone to just ask,
Yeah.
because sometimes the customer is just like most of us, so busy with day to day that it's not that you didn't do a good job, and it's not that they don't want to give you a review. It's just that it's simply not on the top of their
Yeah.
minds.
Yeah.
Most of the ask, you probably won't get it. And so we
Yeah.
do a lot of training every week on, don't forget to ask for the review, don't forget to
Hmm.
ask for the review. And that's something that they keep top of mind. And during those monthly dinners that I was talking about,
Yeah.
we always give away an award, the 5-star review award, to the person with the top amount of 5-star reviews. And
Amazing.
one of our techs here, he's always super pumped about it because
Yeah.
his name actually became a tag under our company for
I
review.
love that. Hey,
He always lets everybody know that at the monthly dinner. So
of course. Yeah. That's amazing. I love hearing that. And in closing, what if you were to talk to somebody sitting on the fence where you were in 2018, considering stepping into the industry, considering starting their own company, what one piece of advice would you give them for success?
the biggest piece of advice that I would give someone that wanted to make that move, two things. If they're just wanting to jump into the industry and not start their own business, it's a little different than starting your own business.
Sure.
So I'll talk to that person that just wants to jump in the industry. You can't go wrong, but you can't quit either. If you want to be successful, it's going to be difficult, but at the same time, keep pushing through.
Yeah.
The person that wants to start their own business, I would say you have to be the most consistent person there.
Yeah.
And that's really hard at times. It can
Mhm.
be, especially if you're starting it from one man in a truck and you're not trying to acquire a company and starting it that route. I
Yeah.
mean, it'll get difficult at times, but if you persevere and push through, stay consistent, then
Yeah.
it should work in the end.
I love that because that consistency is what the team that you're building is going to need as they're also joining the team and navigating everything, having you, the owner, there, present, involved, and powerful, consistent. That's so important, building that foundation. So that's some great advice. And I really appreciate you joining me today. I'm so glad that we had this opportunity and just thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate the time.